Welcome to the fairy ring. This is Alex Fairy Thing. That was incredibly stupid. I am probably never going to do it again. Unless you want me to. Okay. Wow. I can't believe that I pulled this off. I left the country and went on vacation in the middle of December, and I got back 2 days before a final exam. I don't have COVID, so yeah. And I think I did pretty good on my exam, so yeah. And honestly, I'm still processing like the past 3 weeks, so let's talk about it. So my family loves to travel. Staycations never do the trick. My dad just ends up working from home. And I, meanwhile, am very different from that. Seriously, you don't have to take me anywhere, just like stick me in my room and I'll do the rest. But of course, when my parents are like, hey, do you want to go to New York in the winter? I'm like, well, yes. Of course I fucking do. Of course I want to go to New York. Enter the following dilemma. I'm a full-time university student. This was actually maybe more stressful than the trip itself, but we had to wait for my final exam dates to be announced before we could book anything. Side note, SFU, please, there's gotta be a better way to do that. We booked it though, and honestly, I was looking forward to traveling. I don't travel very well, but it's New York. I can't not go to New York. Was I nervous about COVID? Absolutely. I mean, I had it. I had COVID actually like this time last year, and it sucked. But I was also double vaxxed, and travel has so many procedures for keeping things safe, so I just decided, you know what? Let's dive in. Let's see what happens. Maybe it'll be fun. We started with lots of procedures. We took a COVID test, kept masks the whole time, and I tried and failed to fall asleep on the plane, as usual. Fortunately, I was wrenched out of my groggy stupor less than an hour after we landed in Newark because the Lincoln Tunnel had an incident. We were stuck in there for an hour. I don't know if you can hear it in this recording, but on and off there was also a girl with a karaoke machine a few cars behind us who was belting out Mariah Carey. And she was not Mariah Carey. She was not at the level of Mariah Carey. She was not very good. Anyways, we got to our hotels, stuffed our faces, conked right out, but not before seeing Grand Central Station, and holy shit, that's whimsical. Like, I love our SkyTrains. Like, I really do love our SkyTrains. They're very convenient, and they're very sleek and very nice, but oh my god. The only thing that could make the Grand Central Station better is if they actually had Leo, like the star sign, my star sign on the ceiling. My sister made fun of me for that because all the rest of the family star signs were there, and she is like, oh, it's only the best star signs, and I was like, thanks. Pretty much every day, we had a breakfast in a cafe, like, right across from Grand Central Station, which is it was just incredible. Unfortunately, we ventured into our first full day in New York, unaware of the events awaiting. If you don't know about SantaCon, SantaCon was a thing. Imagine smashed and or slutty Santas swarming the goddamn city streets. Yeah, no, it started at like 10 a.m., probably earlier, but basically, SantaCon is a day of the year where you dress up as Santa or some other holiday shenanigan creature, and you do pub crawls. You get drunk, and you just have fun, I guess. I don't know. It was very strange, and like we would just see like occasional mobs of people in red and white and green. Some of them were Santas, some of them were reindeers, some of them were elves, all of them were drunk. But we persevered. We did touristy things. We did Saks. We did Rockefeller Tree, Wall Street, whatever. The mobs were unbearable, but we put up with it because we were tourists. I guess we were just excited to be exploring somewhere new for the first time in so long, so yeah, no, we went all these places, and we also went to FAO Schwartz, baby, fucking FAO Schwartz, yeah. If you don't know, I am a hobbyist toy collector, regrettably. I know cringe culture is dead, but I still cringe at myself a little bit. But like, oh my god, that's insane. It's insane being like in like a 3-floor toy shop that's also like pretty high end. I couldn't imagine like, going there regularly. It makes a great tourist stop because my wallet would not live if it was like within like a 30-mile radius of that thing. But, ooh, so many toys, so many trinkets, big, expensive. I also caved in and bought a Muppet. I haven't named it yet, though, so if anyone has name ideas for this little critter, let me know. The lady running that had the time of her life, and my sister got one, and seeing how happy it made my sister made me get one. So, yeah, If you have name suggestions for my little pink creature, let me know. Oh, and don't worry, I didn't go to New York and not be fruity as hell. I actually kind of went on a date with someone who took me to the Strand, which is like this really cool 3-floor independent bookstore. It had so much stuff. It had like, like really old books. It had new books. It had trendy books. It had more obscure books. It had like, like the basement was full of like nonfiction academic texts. And I was just like, I was in love. Like that is the best place to take someone like me. Like I loved it so much. And yeah, no. After that, I went on a gay pilgrimage of sorts. I went to Stonewall. And then I went to this other little gay bar called Cubbyhole. And just, I don't know, I really just like I just kind of basked in the history there. Because, like, you can feel the history, especially in Stonewall. Like, it still has, like, its whole, like, this was a police-rated venue situation going on. Like, they know their history, and it's just so wild. And then I met up with my date again at Cubbyhole, which is just like a cute little gay bar. I got footage of it up right now. It's very cute. We screamed to Avril Lavigne all night. That was really fun. Also, has Avril Lavigne always been a gay icon? I only ever knew her as, like, Canadian. Also, I'm not gonna name who I went on these, like, little dates with because that just feels kind of weird. And I don't even know if she's ever gonna see this video. If she does, hi. Thank you for all that fun that we had. It was really cool. And if she doesn't, then whatever. And yeah, no, after the gay pilgrimage, I reunited with my parents, and we did more generic touristy shenanigans. We went up the Empire State Building. It's tall. It's a building. I liked the more touristy stuff there. I like that King Kong shows up. We went to Central Park, which after so long in the concrete jungle is just a spiritual experience. Like, you can actually breathe. People can actually walk their dogs on, like, more than just, like, concrete. And we also did a horse carriage, like cliche little bastards, and got colorful commentary from a delightful Italian man, who also had a somewhat mischievous horse named Bruno. I do not remember the man's name. I'm just like this. I'm sorry. We also went to the MoMA that day, which was pretty cool, though a little bit weird because there were a lot of pieces there that I actually learned about in my publishing class that semester. And all I could think about was like the backstory and the context. And my parents are, of course, like, modern art. I don't get it. And I'm like, unfortunately, I do, because I'm a dweeb. If my publishing professor is watching this, it was actually really cool seeing those things in person. Then I had another day where I kind of went off and did my own thing because I was off to meet a friend. Unlike my date, I am actually going to name drop this person. His name is Chintan. He's a longtime friend of mine. And yeah, he brought me to the University of Columbia and then to the Edge, which were both super awesome. Like, you don't get stuff like this where I'm from. It's amazing how much of New York is old and how much of it is new too. Sometimes it's both old and new at once. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what it feels like. This is the kind of stuff from movies. Also, Chintan is an absolute sweetheart. He bought me waffles and gave me candy, so thank you. I really appreciate that. I will pay you back someday if you're watching this, which you probably are, because we're friends. Hi. But, like, it's always really cool meeting internet friends, and if they're locals, they know where all the cool things are. They know where to take you. I had another solo day after that, and I did, as I am wont to do, a thrifting session. Yeah, I actually got this sweater that I'm wearing right now at a thrift store. I think this was Buffalo Exchange. That was really cool. I also saw a Lazy Oaf overall set, but it didn't fit me, so I didn't buy it, even though it was only $30. That took so much restraint. It's also around then we had to take our COVID tests, because I don't know if you know this, but in order to get on a plane home, we had to get a negative COVID test within, like, the last, 2 or 3 days or something. And fortunately, New York had a lot of, COVID testing tents, so that was really convenient for us, because we would just be able to, pop out, they stick the thing up your nose, and they give you the test result back in, 24 to 48 hours. Or at least that's what they say. One of the tests we took came back in, less than 24 hours, around 14 or 15 hours. And then the other one, I still haven't gotten back, actually. I'm not kidding here. I still haven't gotten it back. Oh yeah, then we went to our last museum, which was the American Museum of Natural History. I got a little plush moon, and isn't she the cutest thing ever? Yay! Yeah, that made it. That was fun. And then after the museum, we went to see one of my favorite parts of this vacation. We went to see Little Shop of Horrors, baby! Oh, that was so good. I don't know how much I want to say, because, I don't know if people want to, go out and see it, or do other methods of seeing it. Actually, I don't even know if anyone's going to be able to see it anytime soon due to the whole Omicron thing. Anyways, all I'm gonna say is really, really good, really fun take. It obviously, I know the story, I love the movie, I love the musical in general, but like it's always fun seeing a new take. That's all I'm gonna say. Oh yeah, I also have a poster. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right behind me, right there. Now, if you've gotten this far into this video, you may remember I mentioned that I did this in the middle of final season. This is true. I left like a few days after classes ended, and I got back like 2 days before my exam and 3 days before the final exam period at my school ended. And if you're wondering, every single night, once we got back from the ventures of the day, I would study because I'm a masochist. Studying in a hotel room sucks, by the way, especially if you have to share it with someone, because like every little noise would break my focus and it would just like drive me up the wall. And I would also be up late, like typing or writing notes, which was pretty irritating for my sister, who unfortunately did have to room with me. But it's worth it in the end, because whenever I did leave that hotel, I was in New York. I will say though, there was one thing I was planning to do that I didn't end up doing. I don't know how many of you remember this, but I spent a majority of this year and a good chunk of last year in a cult. That is true. I wish that was a joke, but it's not. I was in what like technically qualifies as a cult. It's called Averno. And like months ago, when the New York plan was first coming to fruition, I told my boss, the cult leader, if you will, about my plans to go to New York. Because they were sometimes in New York. They were a theater kid. A whole lot of their work was in New York. And I almost met them. I think that if Averno hadn't crumbled, I may have met them. And I don't know what that would have meant for me. I'm honestly really glad that we didn't meet, because I feel like I really looked up to them and I really wanted their respect. God knows what they could have manipulated me into doing. It's just really weird, like thinking about how close I was to meeting this person in real life who already manipulated me pretty badly and like really traumatized so many people. I'm really glad that we didn't meet. To segue though, I'm currently working on a couple Averno related products. Don't worry, I'm not associated with Averno anymore, but I am going to be re-releasing some of my work that I did when I was with Averno, alongside some other original pieces. So, I don't know exactly when it's going to release. Hopefully the editor, Alex, is going to be able to tell you that, but I don't know quite yet. I'm really excited for it, though, and I really hope that folks enjoy it when it does come out, because I worked really hard on it. And my next video, if all goes to plan, and if not, then my next video should actually also be about Averno. I'm looking to do a sort of post-mortem video essay style thing. I really hope that appeals to people, because I put a lot of effort into researching and writing it. I just want to be able to point people to that whenever they ask me questions, so that they can get the full story instead of me just having to elaborately explain the whole thing. I'm glad I went to New York, even if it was in the middle of final season, and it was really stressful studying every night in a hotel room. I still technically did it at the right time, because Omicron shut everything down, pretty much once we got back home. Can I recommend this? Absolutely. Maybe not during a global pandemic, but go to New York when it's safe. Be that main character when it's safe. Get a Muppet, go on a date, buy books. Yeah! Also, as for how the exam went, again, I think I did okay, and I will update when I get the result. But seriously, New York makes you feel like the main character. It is so fun. I wholeheartedly recommend it, and I'm probably going to go listen to the Little Shop of Horrors soundtrack yet again. Love y'all.